Alright, assuming everything is going as planned, I am live on the internet right now. But let's double check, because I'm always ready for it not to be working. Always 100% ready for that possibility. Nope, we're good. We're up. Grabbing that link, putting it on the social media. Boop. Do this, and one more. Excuse me. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna play a little bit of the Stanley Parable tonight, because I'm still kinda in between games here for Tuesday, so just sort of bouncing back and forth between some indie games that I like. Yeah, let's jump in. It's been a minute since I played this game, so like going through is gonna be
all of his co-workers were gone.
Just about as interesting as it was the first time.
Stanley decided to go
Let
to
me
the
make sure
meeting.
the audio levels are
Perhaps he
good.
had simply missed a memo.
Okay, let me pop that desktop audio up just a touch, because it is important that y'all are able to hear it. Here, let's pop it up to 60 and see how that is. Boop. Boop. Alright. Sorry, I just want to make sure that the audio is audible.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright. Wait till we get there on here and see if I can hear it good. Okay, that's good. Sorry about that. Alright. So this is kind of the first like kind of thing that shows you what this game is gonna be, because the narrator tells you to enter the door on your left, but you do have the agency. Hello, Wiley, how are you doing? Welcome. But you do have the agency to enter the door on your right. So let's do that.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
But like playing with the narrator in this game
Truly a room worth admiring.
is probably
And
the
it would have
greatest
been worth
thing
the
about
detour
it.
After all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
And then you can just stay here for a little bit.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
This is a good game. I recall first seeing Markiplier play there.
At this point,
Yeah,
Stanley's obsession
my
with this room
first introduction to it
reflected fully on his
was
overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
My first introduction to it was a stream that They did on Revision 3.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
There was a stream they were doing on Revision 3 with Anthony Carboni and Adam Sessler, and they did the demo of the game, which the demo of the game is a completely separate entity from the actual game. Like, the Stanley Parable demo is a chunk of game that is not anywhere in the actual game. And it was like a personalized version of it for Adam Sessler. And it was really funny.
To get back to business.
But that's what got me to pick up the demo, and the demo got me to, in turn, pick up the game eventually. But it's just... It's a really weird,
so bad at following directions,
cool game.
He wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
I also, like, really love the guy they got to narrate this game. Like, he's very good.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're connected. Stanley walked through the red door.
I do. You decided to be a little booger on your first go there. Yes. I think the first time I actually played. I think the first time I played this game for real.
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road?
Did this too.
Don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
I don't think I've ever... You know what? I'm gonna go this way this time. Okay, it doesn't change anything.
I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, well, now this is useful. You didn't like it, but you didn't totally hate it either. You enjoyed it, perhaps is the correct term. It didn't cause you excruciating pain. Big steps we've made here today, Stanley. Based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Ah, yes, the Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Very good. I'm pretty sure that is the exact amount of time that we've been playing thus far. No, it's not. It can't be. Because that would mean we've been playing for 7 hours. That's not true. That's impossible. What if I went through this door?
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Give it a 3.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
No, yeah, for sure. Yes, the narrator is tossing some shade my way with that leaderboard. This is great.
Left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
It's like they worked so hard to make this thing have all the most obnoxious and abrasive sounds that it could possibly have. Well, if that's their intention, it's working wonders for them.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do.
Maybe
I'm
both.
completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Is it Portal first?
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
I can't remember. It's been a minute. No, it's Minecraft first. Okay.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley.
I'm going to build a house. Scusi.
This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please,
Gaze upon my work of art and be ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Let's go mining. I would have, and this would have been tricky and also probably morally ambiguous, but I would have appreciated it even more if it was just a fully functioning version of Minecraft that they put into
utterly
The Stanley
irrelevant.
Parable.
This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
I can't remember. There's one particular storyline that I really enjoy, where now it's Portal.
Yes, I don't even know.
Where he gives you like the fucking Stanley Parable adventure line. I think that's probably my favorite, but I don't remember the exact.
I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be?
Way to get it.
Out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is. Oh, it's puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley.
Your forte. Damn it.
Genius.
Genius.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then, I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made.
Jesus.
Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
I've never sat to listen to all of that dialogue line. Fuck. Might want to turn the gamma up a little bit, though. Am I allowed? It doesn't look like I am. Field of vision? No. Laptop? No, no. Huh. Well, shit. Oh, lights, camera, action. Oh, what's this way? I've never gone over here. All right. Oh.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
Jesus.
He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
I've actually never sat around and waited for that ending to end. I just thought, like, it was leaving you down there to wander for eternity, so I just restarted the game. But shit. Fuck.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I just want to meet the man that wrote this game, 'cause whoever he is, I don't know his name. I should know that, but I don't. But he is chef's kiss, incredible, wonderful.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What's this run gonna be? You know what? I'm gonna feel it out as I go. There are a few hits that I want to get to, but like I'm just gonna kind of. Wander around and feel my way out. Probably not good little choir boy, Stanley.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
But there's one thing on the way up this way that I do greatly enjoy. Is it this way? No, it's not this way. Hold on. Or maybe... There's a broom closet somewhere that I definitely want to enter. Where is it? Did I miss it somewhere? Maybe it's after the boss's office. Again, it's been a minute. I can't enter the executive bathroom, and I feel cheated and lied to.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the key behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I wish I could see this way, 'cause I really can't. I guess there's nothing that way. Where's the broom closet, though? Well, we'll find something along the way. 'Cause I don't want to get to, like, the end. Because the end, going on the critical path is the most boring part of this game.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
But what if I went this way? I think I know what happens if I go this way, but let's go this way.
This passageway had the word escape written on it. The truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Cool. Is there any going back? I wonder.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
But what if I go back?
Nope, still on board with death.
Is that it? Nope, still on board with death. No, yeah, this game is fucking incredible.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Christ.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, I can't remember which ending this is. I feel like this is actually different from the first time I played this game because I have endings that I know what are, but I don't remember where to go for them.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
That's probably the most interesting way a video game has ever handled death. There's something after this where... How long does it leave me waiting? I hope the game didn't lock up. Oh. I just can't see anything. There it is.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
This is great.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Jesus. This isn't the ending I thought I was heading towards, but this is definitely one of the better ones. There's the freedom ending. That's the boring ending. Escape menu. For a long time we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Bought a bottle of Pepsi solely based on the fact that it had a retro logo on it. That was probably Pepsi's plan. Zending. This screen depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. I love this. This is really cool. Trailers. We ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This was the first one, released in May 2012, of the narrator informing viewers that he is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Oh, this is so fucking cool. Maintenance layout. The flow of hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right, since players will replay them many times. We discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was the simplest version that won out. I love this like little design museum that they have in here. This one, the war zone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up in a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Oh, sure it was. All right. Let's begin the game again.
meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
That's a different beginning.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
It is a beautiful room.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Damn it. I thought I found the broom closet, but I didn't.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Or
feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
here
up
it
to
is.
his boss's office.
I have to open
He
it
might
myself.
find an answer there.
Here we go.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Or did he?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
There are so many things about this game that I love the most that are centered completely around finding an area and just standing there.
He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
I mean, it's a pretty sick broom closet.
Choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Also, Stanley is
Well,
addicted
I've
to
come a
drugs
very
and
definite conclusion about
hookers.
What's going on right now? You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming. the insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
I think that might be it. But what's great is I'll come back and the broom closet will be boarded up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
If I remember correctly.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy...
Hi, Simon. I can't jump out a window. There's no jump button.
Everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers
The way to do it in the
actually
second
gone.
room?
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job.
Hi, Alex.
Buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Hey, Josh.
Now the voice
How are you
was
doing?
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all,
Doing good, that's
he was
good.
certain beyond
I'm
a
glad
doubt
you're doing
that
good.
this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress.
This is a game called the Stanley Parable, and it is batshit crazy, and I love it very, very much.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am...
I already did the baby saving part, Simon.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose,
I thought this was an
dressed,
actual
gathered
good
her
Five Nights
belongings,
at Freddy's
and
game.
walked to her
No, those don't
house.
exist.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for
Is
an
that
ambulance,
the
brief moments, she considered the
G-Man character model?
He was obviously crazy.
Because I think it is.
Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And
It looks like him from the
she thought
back.
to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
I know this is a modded version of Gary's mod. It's a source engine game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So what are you talking about, Simon? Hold on. Second window on the left. Right window in the second room. So this is the first room. This is the second room. Hold on a second. What are you talking about? I can't jump out of any of the windows. Are you just talking talking out your ass? You clip your way onto the... So it's a glitch, or is it like an actual thing? I'm not... Yeah, I know what I think I know what you're talking about now. Well, it... Are you talking about this table? It's weird. Or this table. Well, I'm just like wandering into a table right now, so I'm just gonna go do something, and then maybe we can figure that out later, if we so desire.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace? Its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper. Something darker.
Something darker.
Yes. Really, really worth it being here in the room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Let's go this way.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I?
Okay, real quick. 434. Okay,
thinking?
I'll
It's clearly...
try it
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute?
next time we're back there.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh yeah, this is the one that I wanted earlier, I think.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
I probably can't do it
All
during
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
this
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he
section.
had simply missed a memo.
Well, because I've already launched into another ending right now.
When Stanley... Wait. What? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
It's an adventure.
Let's find the story.
On a vanilla restart, yeah. Okay, there's a bit I want to do in this section, so we'll do that, then we'll do a vanilla restart and try what you're telling me about.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had...
One of my favorite endings is the Stanley Parable adventure line, so I do want to do that.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I'm remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Nope, yep, it's worse.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
I won.
I know you put in a lot of hard work.
I beat the game.
It really paid off. So,
The game's over now because I beat it.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Hi, Bridget. I'm playing the Stanley Parable. It's a weird little indie game that I enjoy very much.
It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
Wait a
Or to put
minute.
it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
I've never tried
Simply by
this.
the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being by the very manifestation
It circles
of the
back
nature of
around.
life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now we can both agree that the nature of existence
Maybe you
is in
meanwhile
fact
need to do a
a
podcast one
byproduct
day.
of one's subjective experience of that existence.
That'd probably be
right?
fun.
Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, Is this office, in fact,
Oh,
the
Christ.
skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was.
Welcome back, Whale.
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
I think your narrator is having something of an existential crisis. Yes.
Stanley.
That's what this game's all about, actually.
Later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Alright, let's study this fern. It's a beautiful fern. It's an excellent fern. There are lots of intricacies about the fern. There are many branches, and each branch has many leaves. Yes. This branch has a break in it and continues to a smaller branch. Beautiful fern. Wiley wants to name the fern George. I'd say that's probably good. George the Fern. Fern George. Or Fern Gully. Alright.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Restart.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people.
Yes, George Fern Gully, that's it.
Our own story. Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Sure.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
Anybody notice that this hallway has circled around 100,000 times?
I'm ready for it. Oh no, not you again, Stanley.
What I love about this is the idea that the line broke the ceiling.
Just don't acknowledge it.
I think that's what they're implying here. The line has agency of its own, and it broke the ceiling. Because it re-enters at another place. And the ceiling is also broken there. Which is just kind of terrifying, don't you think? It's a little spoopy.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Clearly you're looking for a deranged man with a can of yellow paint and a ladder on a grappling hook with a sledgehammer. Yes! We figured out who the villain of the Stanley Parable is.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes?
Damn logic, you never let us down.
Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we?
There's no longer an office, simply black space. Wander the blackness, find a bookstore, get bored. Okay. Jesus.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Simon's trying to tell me that I can clip into this chair and get on top of this desk and jump out that window. I'm very skeptical. Here, let's do a hard restart. Try to clip into the chair. If it doesn't work,
what could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked,
hey, okay, here we go.
He couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
However, how do we get... How do we get to the other side is the question. Shit. Okay, so we can get up here. Well, damn it. Okay. Now I'm even more frustrated because I've gotten on top of the desk and I'm being thwarted. Ugh. Wonder if you're meant to look at the computer that's actually on. Maybe. Actually, there's a... I turned it off. I killed it. Ugh. Well, shitty titties. I can't seem to get to the other side of this dumb thing and do the thing. Which is a little disappointing. I cannot crouch. Alex, it's crouch. I cannot crouch, though. I can neither crouch nor crouch. Ugh.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have
I wonder what happens if you beef it
Are
there.
you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of
Next
this,
time.
but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No! Oh, no. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask.
Jesus.
You wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love. Yes, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Let's see what happens if we beef it.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
disobeying.
it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Do you want to marry the room? Of course I do. It is a beautiful room.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Awaiting input. Input received. I'm atop this desk now. How did I get atop this desk? I'm atop it. Awaiting input. Input received. Congratulations, Stanley. Everyone thinks you're very powerful.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
Tips to
of
not getting
disbelief,
fired. Talk
Stanley
less.
decided
Do
to go
unbelievably
up to his
amazing
boss's
work
office.
all the time.
Maybe he
Okay,
might
bye.
find an answer there.
How to solve dispute with a coworker. Using slides to ensure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slides are slick. Blue graphic header. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Number of slides on this slide. Charts. Charts and slides. Slides. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Please, no more charts, please! I'm begging you, stop! The Boss Appreciation Minute. On your Boss Appreciation Minute worksheet, circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Solving interpersonal conflict. If you ever find yourself in conflict with another diligent employee, like yourself, but more... Okay, bye. What are your dreams for the future? Success, nature, transcendent, mitosis, talk ratio, talk radio. Okay, talk less. Do unbelievably amazing at work all the time with no expectation of promotion or recognition. Do not get fired. Take out passively aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive aggressively. Metamorphosis. I love this. This is wonderful. Synergize core value expenditures. Shift global market paradigm. Monetize free to play. What do people want? Things. Happy feelings is cross out. Mike James, you are fired. Money. More money. Things, but with money to buy more things. Graphs? Graphs about things and money. We have our new product. The stock market is somewhere here. Colored in segment. Stripes. Requires more secondary research. What is hot? Profits, profits, profits. Profits, 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 profits. A lot of percent. Teenagers. Size of demographic. Space between the teenagers. Throw something in the idea bin. Prophecies, yes. No more bins. Trash cans. 20 remaining of the idea bin. 30 firing of me. Bi-quarterly post-review review. We need less reviews. 402 to 4 plus 405 want to get rid of the death sport portion in the primary review schedule. But I think that's a stupid idea. More water coolers, more water cooler heaters. Charts need to be more hip, appeal to the teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. Big net? Some sort of child trap? Work harder. Hard worker. Goodness gracious. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Tomorrow, complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda. Reflect. The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Excuse me? Targets. Push for funding for R&D. New coffee machine. Not cost efficient. This reminds me so much of work. I think that might be a little bit of the point. Get Chris out of broom. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic. What does everyone do for work? Well, I work at a... Oh, the broom closet isn't boarded up yet. Let's go back inside. Oh wait, we did a hard read. Oh wait.
I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you
We're gonna place where the director put a chalkboard in the ladies' room and puts inspirational messages about teamwork on the chalkboard for us to read while we're using the ladies' room, because we need to feel like a team, like a team in the ladies' room. Makes perfect sense. Kinda, little bit, maybe. I guess. No. I am a cashier at a shitty grocery store. That's where I work. Eventually, I plan to apply to a less shitty grocery store.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Here, let's go on the critical path.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Now what if...
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input, Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story. 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
"911? What's your emergency?" Question mark.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
You are about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
His own life in someone else's control? Never!
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Why can't I, press this button? Hey, game. I found a bug. Excuse me. There's 5. Where's the 3 button? There's a 1, there's a 2, and there's a 4, and there's a 5. But where's the 3? I found the 3. Okay. Now, my question is, do any of these buttons do anything? What's this button? Oh, come on! You can't have a big red button that doesn't do anything, guys.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley. You didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered
Wait a
buttons,
minute.
these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Sold? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this
Was that door open the whole time? Could I have walked through it?
But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Jesus.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
GG,
memo.
good game, 100%.
No matter how
A
hard
plus,
Stanley
yes.
looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
What haven't we done?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic.
Yeah,
A
420,
combination of a
man.
much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? Well, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up.
That's not what would have happened.
An incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Oh god.
Choice.
I've never seen this before.
Part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house.
Jesus.
Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
I'm sorry? Excuse me?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Makes me feel so much more inspired by the restroom chalkboard. I have played this game for over 5 hours now, and I've never seen that before.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
I don't want to go to the real world, though.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
What the fuck? Everything's clipping. He wanted to be in the real world. He wouldn't play video games. Exactly. All those broken textures and shit.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. Oh, I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to. I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Yup.
Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What should I do now?
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Your other left.
Behave exactly as Stanley.
All right, let's do what it
means
says
choosing
now.
responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yes, I'm a literal child.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
The broom closet won't open anymore. The last bastion of humanity has been stripped away from me.
Staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
I am incapable.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. Two open doors. He entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
You know what? I normally go until midnight, but I think that's a good place to end. Like, shit. That's the first ending that I've found that I've never seen before in a really long time in this game, and also just like beautiful. Chef's kiss. Oh. Oh. I mean, I don't know, like, it just that kind of felt like the end of the stream, didn't it? Should we keep going or no? You know what? I think I'll call it a stream there, actually. Thanks to everybody who showed up tonight. Thanks to... That was a really good ending. No, but yeah, thanks to everybody who showed up tonight. Thanks to Alex and Wiley and Bridget and Simon and Lone Wolf and Josh. Am I forgetting anybody? I don't know, man. I think that might be it. But yeah. Have I tried the Stardew Valley beta? I have not. I have been considering doing jumping back into Stardew Valley and having that be Tuesday nights again, because I'm kind of just in between things right now. But I think that I might actually do that next week. I think I might jump back into Stardew Valley because I've heard there's a lot of new stuff, and also the multiplayer is in beta. I might find somebody to play that with me. But right now, yeah, you know what? Next Tuesday is gonna be Stardew Valley again. But yeah, thanks everybody for. Because I do want to check out that new stuff. But yeah, thanks everybody for showing up tonight. I was kind of worried about playing this game because I wasn't sure it was gonna be a good game for streaming. It's a very good game, but I wasn't sure it was gonna be good for streaming. But it was a really fun stream and I really enjoyed it. And also I found something new in this crazy good game. But yeah. Thanks everybody again, and I'll see you all next time I do something. Take it easy, guys. It was fun.